With Ghost of Tsushima being one of my favorite games of all time and Ghost of Yotei being just around the corner, I wanted to take a look into things and see what I would love to see in Ghost of Yotei, carried over from Ghost of Tsushima, new things, improved things, etc. There are so many things I love in Ghost of Tsushima, but there are also some things that I think could be improved or things that are lacking. I haven't seen much info about Ghost of Yotei. I've purposely tried to stay intentionally in the dark so I can go in fresh and open-minded when the game comes out. All I've really seen so far are a couple of trailers. So, with that in mind, let's take a little look into some of those. Ghost of Tsushima is genuinely an absolute pleasure to explore. It is one of the best open world game experiences I have had, and I genuinely love that every little thing in this game is mastercrafted to tell a story and enhance your experience. There is a meaning to every little thing you do in that open world, and it's wonderful. I love all the collectibles, and unlike most open world games where it feels like an arbitrary checklist of here is collectible A, here is collectible B, you get something meaningful from each one, and it is amazing to see. For example, the fox dens, when you do these, you do a little bit of exploration, and then you find a shrine where you get an upgrade to a new charm slot, a charm upgrade itself, or maybe even a new charm. There are the large Shinto shrines where you get a new powerful charm to help you on your journey. There are the hot springs where you get health increases and also little lore tidbits where Jin gets to reflect on part of his journey so far or different little things about him. And you get to pick out of two and you get to learn a little bit more about the world and Jin, and it's such a cool little feature. And then you have bamboo strikes where you get to challenge your little skills and also, you know, get a bit of resolve for this at the same time. There are random aesthetic objects around, you know, little cosmetic items like headbands or hats. Some people love these damn hats, but you find a hat just lying in a field and you're like, hey, cool, a hat. And it's like, why did this hat end up here? It's just nice. It's wonderful. It's such a pleasure to explore this game. And so many open world games do not have this feeling. Like, most open world games, I feel like I'm just chored, bored. This is not a fun experience. I'm doing this because I feel like I have to get my money's worth out of this game. Whereas Tsushima, I don't want to stop exploring. It's so fun and enjoyable, and the more you invest into this world, the more it invests back into you. And I hope we see the same level of open world structure in Yotei. I don't think it needs to be bigger. I hope it doesn't become more bloated. I would love to see new or similar versions of these collectibles and locations to explore and find. But as long as they don't become meaningless and arbitrary, as in so many other games, I think we'll be onto a winner. And I really hope we see this kind of thing return in Yotei as in Tsushima. This one's for all you aesthetic players out there. Personally, I hope we get more customization with armor sets and stuff in Ghost of Yotei than we did in Ghost of Tsushima. For example, I would love to see more dyes available to you, more ability to mix and match different parts of armor sets. For example, maybe we can customize the boots, the gloves, as well as the mask and the headpiece, and maybe like dye different parts different colors, for example, from different dyes we've collected. Another thing I would love to see is a transmog or glamour type style system whereby, say I'm wearing the Sakai clan armor, but I need the abilities of the ghost armor, but I love the way the Sakai clan armor looks. Well, I could switch into the ghost armor and then make it look like the Sakai clan armor, so I get the abilities from the ghost armor and still can look the way I want to do. And I love the way the armor has different abilities in Ghost of Tsushima, and I genuinely hope this is something that carries over to Yotei. However, I do think this would be a really cool feature for people that want to look and play the character their way more and experience the journey their way. This one may be a little controversial, but I think it's something that I would personally genuinely love to see, and I think maybe the fan base of Ghost of Tsushima and the Ghost of series would be a bit divided on, or maybe I'm completely wrong and everyone would love this. But personally, I would really, really love to see some Easter eggs or references to the first game, whether they be really subtle things, maybe like a sword kit or a outfit, or something like that, or maybe more direct references. For example, they could make such a cool use of the mythic tale system where the storyteller gives you the tale of Jin Sakai, the Ghost of Tsushima, and you get something based on Jin. I would love that. And I know that maybe like this wouldn't work so well based on how the mythic tales were done in Ghost of Tsushima. They were more based on legends and myths around Tsushima Isle, but I think it is entirely possible that they could do this because there were plenty of ways that the legend of the ghost made it from Tsushima Isle to the mainland of Japan. We know that the shogun had influence on this situation. We know that people also left Tsushima Isle during this time and took the legend with them. And also we could maybe see legends or myths based around them too. And I think this would be such a cool reference and throwback to the original game. And I would personally fanboy so hard. I know not everyone may like this, but for me personally, I would absolutely adore a quest based around Jin Sakai. And I really hope we get to see this. One thing I'd really love to see is better climbing and parkour mechanics in the game. While I do think they are very good and they do the job they are intended to do in Ghost of Tsushima well, I do think they could be expanded and improved on a bit more. I find them a little bit inflexible at times in Ghost of Tsushima, and I would love to get a higher degree of flexibility and maneuverability during this stuff, especially if we have a higher focus on ghost-based mechanics, more assassin-based movements and things in the game. There are so many ways to climb and move around in Ghost of Tsushima, but they do feel very rigid at times, where sometimes it's very difficult to disengage from a ledge or jump from ledge to ledge, etc, etc. I would love to see better ways that this kind of flows and is more fluid, although I don't think it's necessarily 100% required for it to be good. I still think it's excellent in Ghost of Tsushima. I do think they have a lot of scope to improve this and make it feel a lot more natural. Ghost of Tsushima is a story full of twists, surprising, and incredibly shocking moments, and I really hope Ghost of Yotei follows suit with this. Tsushima tells its story in so many ways beyond its plot and script, from the artwork to the voice acting to the music and the landscapes and world building, and even down to its mechanics. It tells its story in so many ways, and it's absolutely masterfully woven together to create an absolute cinematic masterpiece of a game that you feel like you are involved in every step of the way. This is cinema, but you are the main actor in this. You are the lead role in this cinematic masterpiece, and I hope Yotei is more of the same. But ultimately what I want more of really is absolute emotional devastation, because if I am not a crying mess by the end of this game, then what are we even doing here? Although I haven't seen much of what is to come in Ghost of Yotei, having only seen the original reveal trailer and a trailer from a PlayStation State of Play a few months back, one thing I have heard is that the stance change system in Ghost of Tsushima has been replaced by a weapon change system, and I have some minor concerns about this. However, I do think Sucker Punch will pull this off. I love the stance change system in Ghost of Tsushima. I felt it felt very rewarding and very fluid. It was one of the things I loved most about the combat, and I hope that the new system feels the same way. I do have a lot of faith that Sucker Punch will land this. I trust them. They did a fantastic job with Tsushima, and I think they, from what I can gather, have just done more of the same, which I am all here for. So I'm excited to see how it feels and how it works and how these new weapons work and stuff. And yeah, hopefully it feels just as good as the stance change system did in Ghost of Tsushima. This one's for the OG players of Ghost of Tsushima back on PS4 prior to any DLC releases. You may or may not be aware that back in the day, in Ghost of Tsushima, the Legends Storyteller did not exist. Before Legends mode was introduced to the game, there was no Legends Storyteller on the map. You could run around free from Gyozen telling you his tales randomly as you walk past, and he's just sitting there in random locations. While I think the Legend Storyteller is a relatively cool addition to the game, I wish he was not everywhere. Why is he everywhere? This is one of the most dumb things that they ever did with the game. It's incredibly immersion breaking to just find the Legend Storyteller just chilling on a point. I don't feel like many people probably make use of that feature in the game where you can talk to Legend Storyteller and enter Legends mode. All you need for this is a menu. It would be fine if he was only sitting in key hubs, for example, Golden Temple or large villages, maybe just like 3 locations in Tsushima, for example. But there is no need for him to be sat on random corners of roads and just random locations everywhere in the game. And I really hope that when they add Legends mode to Yotei, they do not repeat this same thing, because personally, I find it incredibly annoying. I don't think I have met anyone that is in favor of this legend storyteller just chilling in random places. So some people are more indifferent than I am. Personally, I find it very immersion breaking, and I really hope that this isn't a thing in Yotei once Legends mode is added in. Still on the topic of Legends mode, I would love to see it extended and become more accessible than it was in Ghost of Tsushima for more players in Ghost of Yotei. I wasn't able to personally beat it with my friends, and it's something I hope to do at some point someday. I think it was such a fun mode, and there were so many different features in that mode and ways to play in different game modes, and I just didn't expect this incredible multiplayer mode from this incredible single player game. Multiplayer felt like a strange choice for me, and I didn't know how they would make it work or what they would do with it, but I was absolutely blown away and so surprised and impressed. I really hope we see more of that in Ghost of Yotei, but I hope they use these incredible building blocks and bones that they created in Ghost of Tsushima's Legends mode to expand and grow and make it something even more intricate and vast. And I hope we get some more cool stories that they tell. However, I would also love to see the Legends stories and content from Tsushima carry over into Yotei's Legends mode, so that people that maybe haven't played Tsushima or don't have access to Tsushima can still experience those, or it stops that mode dying in Ghost of Tsushima when there's a good chance the game will drop in popularity, at least in the multiplayer element, once Yotei is out and its Legends mode is out. I hope that content gets to live on in Yotei also. I think it is worth playing, and having that there is never a bad thing. Hopefully it wouldn't be difficult for them to implement and put over, but it's something that I can't say for sure, but I would genuinely love to see. I think for the most part that covers off just about everything I can think of off the top of my head for now. There are probably other things, but genuinely Ghost of Tsushima is such a well put together game, it's hard to say that you can want anything more from Yotei. Overall, I just want more of the same of what Tsushima is. If they do what Tsushima is, pretty much a carbon copy, but with a new story, new locations, and new characters, and obviously the new visuals and music that comes along with it, then I'll be more than happy enough. And heck, even if Ghost of Yotei is half the game that Ghost of Tsushima was in terms of quality, it'll still be an incredible game in my mind. I genuinely cannot wait for Ghost of Yotei. I am so excited for it. I really love Ghost of Tsushima, and if you haven't given Tsushima a try, I would really recommend it. It's such a phenomenal game, and you should definitely dive into it. And maybe if you don't want to do that, just dive into Yotei and give that a go when it comes out. Sucker Punch have done an incredible job with Ghost of Tsushima, and I have so much faith in them to deliver on Ghost of Yotei. I'm very excited. What kind of things are you excited for in Ghost of Yotei? Let me know in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this little look into my thoughts and feelings on what may be coming for Ghost of Yotei and what I would love to see. If you did, please consider dropping me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. It would help me out a bunch. I would be very grateful. Please consider it. Take care, look after yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!